It's time for Tech Time with Timmy.
Hello, welcome to Tech Time with Timmy. In this episode, Timmy's going to be talking about the Google Pixel 2. So, the Google Pixel is a cool range of phones that Google started making around a year ago, and they first released the original generation Google Pixel and Google Pixel XL, and a few weeks ago they released the Google Pixel 2 and Pixel 2 XL. So the original one had a glass panel on the back, but it was more of a boxy one around here, whereas on the Google Pixel 2 there's just a nice little top panel up here, and there's a fingerprint reader on the back. There's no fingerprint reader on the front here, just on the back. On the front is two front-firing speakers, so it sounds really good, the speakers. So the Google Pixel 2 XL has smaller bezels. This is the Google Pixel 2, not XL. But the Google Pixel 2 XL has smaller bezels, and it's a bit bigger, and so the screen's a bit bigger. But all the processors inside are really the same, so you'll get the same sort of user experience while you're using it. So it doesn't have a headphone jack as well. So you need to either use Bluetooth headphones, or you can use the handy little cable that adapter that comes with it, so that the adapter that plugs into the USB Type-C port, which is normally for charging. You can also plug the adapter into that and plug headphones in via a headphone jack if you want. Or what you can also do is you can get headphones that plug into a USB Type-C plug and use them that way. So if you don't have Bluetooth headphones and you don't want to use them, there's still other ways. So on the top there's not really anything, it's just a nice clean top. And then over on the bottom, there's not much here either, it's just the USB-C port. And then you've got the power on-off button, and the volume rocker. And then nothing on this side except for the SIM card slot. So there's a thing a bit like iPhones and some other phones, where you insert a little paper clip or a SIM removal tool into a hole, and it pulls out the SIM card drawer. And then on the back, there's the glass panel, a 12 megapixel camera, and a flash, and the fingerprint reader. So then on the front you've just got the two front firing speakers and an 8 megapixel camera. So that's really cool. So setting it up is really easy. All you have to do is take the Google Pixel 2 out of the box, obviously, and then you take it out of the plastic wrapper thing that it comes in. And so then all you have to do is you grab the SIM removal tool and remove the SIM card drawer, and then you insert your SIM card into it and slot the drawer back in. Then you just power it on and it comes up with the cool starting, and then you just follow the prompts on the screen. So that's really cool. And the display is always on, so you can always see the time and the date, and if there's an alarm set, it'll have that there. And then there'll be icons, and any app icon that appears there, that means you've got a notification from that app, so you can know when you've got a new notification. And if you double tap on the always on display, then you see the lock screen. So if you just put your finger on the fingerprint reader, it unlocks, and you can set up to 5 fingers, so you can use a different finger if you want, and it unlocks it. And also, if you flick down on the fingerprint reader, it actually pulls down your notifications and then the control pane thing, like on most Android devices. So it runs Android Oreo, which is the newest Android version that's around, and most phones aren't on that yet, so that's really cool. And the screen looks really nice, and you may see, if you look really closely, the waves in this background are actually crashing, so you can get backgrounds that move on here, which is pretty cool. So you swipe to the side, and you've got a Google feed, which is really cool, like most Android devices have. And so if you swipe up, you get the Pixel launcher again. And up here, which is the Google Pixel 2 is the first device to have this, where you've got the date and the weather, and if you've got a calendar event or something, that will appear instead of the date. So that's pretty cool. And whereas most Android devices have the search bar up here, there's the Google search is actually down here now. So you can just tap on that and use the search. And the Google Pixel 2 has squeezy sides on both the on both the plain 2 and the 2XL, so you can just squeeze the sides and it activates the Google Assistant, which is really cool. So then the Google Assistant on here can do pretty much anything you'd expect the Google Assistant on an Android phone to do. So that's really cool. And the camera is really nice. It takes some amazing pictures. So these are some of the pictures that Timmy has taken with it, and it doesn't require much photography skills, or any really. All you really need to do is just point the camera at the subject and press the shutter button. You can fiddle around with a few things if you want, but it's not really necessary. And there's also a really cool feature called portrait mode, where you can set the camera to figure out what is the subject and what is the background, and it blurs out the background and makes the subject look really cool. So it's really good quality, probably the best camera ever to be put in a smartphone, which is really cool. It also has a really cool feature that quite a few Android phones have, but not all of them have, where you can hold down on an app and you get options here. So if you hold down on Google Chrome, you can create a new tab or a new incognito tab. If you hold down on camera, you can take a selfie or take a video and stuff like that. So you don't have to actually enter the app and do something. You can just easily do it by holding down the app, which is really cool. And it also has a cool YouTube picture-on-picture mode. So if you open the YouTube app and you start watching a video,
It's time for Tech
so
Time
if you start
with
watching a
Timmy.
video, then you can just press the home button and the video continues playing here. Airmore is a very cool app that you can Android and iOS devices. You can move the YouTube video around all around the screen, and then when it's sitting here, you can still keep doing stuff on your device. So if you just tap on it and then tap it again, then you go back into the YouTube app. So it's really cool because you can keep doing other stuff at the same time. It also has very convenient multitasking. A very easy way to use multitasking. So you can be in an app like Gmail or something, and then hold down on this square that's on the bottom right hand corner. So you hold that down, and then you get this, which is like you do if you just tap that square. So you can flick between apps, and so then you can just tap on a different app and have two apps open at the same time. And if you need more screen space for one app than the other, then you can move it a bit. So now Gmail has more space and Photos has less space. So that's really cool. Or you can take Gmail space away and give Photos more space. So it works really cool like that. So that's really cool. It also has a really cool feature called Google Lens, where basically if you open up the camera and you take a picture of something and open up that picture, there's a little Google Lens icon at the bottom of the picture. So just tap on the icon and it figures out what that image is. So in this case it's got plastic bottle. So it doesn't know a lot about the plastic bottle, and there's some things it can't quite identify yet, but it's getting better all the time. So eventually that'll be really good. And it works really well for things like books. If you have a book, you can take a picture of that and then just use Google Lens again by pressing the Lens button, and it actually identifies the book and what it is and everything. So that's really cool. It also works really well if you have a piece of paper with email addresses or a web address or something like that. You can use Google Lens and it will find the email address on that page, and you can just tap a button and go to it, rather than having to read it and then type it in. So it is really cool like that, and it's really convenient. And at the moment, with the way it is now, all of this up here is white and light because there's a lighter background on it, so everything is light. But if you went into settings and changed the wallpaper, if you chose a dark wallpaper, now you'll notice when you pull down it's all much darker. and the color goes out of the Google logo, so it's just a white logo, which sort of makes it easier to see. And then if you change to a lighter wallpaper again, then it changes all back to lighter and whiter. So that's really cool. So the Google Pixel 2 is rather expensive. It's really at the high end of the phone pricing. But if you're looking for a phone at the high end of that pricing, which is quite expensive, then it really is a good phone. So you should look at it as an option if you're looking for a phone or if you're considering upgrading, because it is a great phone. So that's really cool, and that'll be the end of this episode of Tech Time with Timmy.
Bye.